Hello, beautiful beings. This is my question to you today. What is stopping you from boldly and courageously and fearlessly stepping into your power, your authentic truth, and sharing your healing gifts with the world? So many people that I ask this question to will say, well, I don't know, I'm in a job that I don't like and this, that, and the other, or I don't have the skills necessary to do that, or I'm not courageous enough. I just don't think I'm confident enough to do that. Or I don't know, my son's taking up all my time and I just don't have any energy for it. Or, well, I just lack the money or the skills to do all those campaigns on social media. There's all these excuses that we have, right? There's all these excuses. And the fact of the matter is the only thing that's stopping us from living in our truth is ourselves. Pure and simple. If we don't have the energy to do something, then we can cultivate practices to create that energy. If we feel like there's something outside of us that's blocking us, it's actually inside of you blocking you. If you have a story around money, well, yeah, you probably don't have any money right now because there's a story around money and what you deserve and what you're valued at, right? If your car is breaking down all the time, my guess is something else in your life is breaking down too. So when are we going to just change that story? Now, a lot of us don't know what the story is. That's why we call it the shadow. That's why we call it deep inner healing work. The healing work is figuring that part out. And it's not always a mental game. It is actually a feeling game. It is about finding the emotional root, the core wounds that you have had in your life that are affecting you emotionally, that have been suppressed, have been avoided, right? Maybe we're numbed out to them. And it's time to open up the gates. It's time to open the floodgates and to figure out what are the emotional pains and root wounds that we have so that we can actually break through the story that was created by the mind, the perceptions that we created to maybe make ourselves safe or to create protection. There's a lot of walls that we create in efforts to create boundaries for ourselves because we felt rejected or unloved, right? Or our needs weren't getting met, so we had to hide. Or we made ourselves small because being bigger was scary. Whatever those stories were, they still probably reside within you if you're not fully authentically sharing yourself. So I want to help you. I want to help you share your gifts, to actualize your visions, to open up and unleash your power, and to break through those stories. What's it going to take? There's so many cool things that you can do, but what it's going to take is you to commit to yourself. It's not about time, and it's not about money, and it's not about whether or not your partner agrees with you. It's none of those things. It is pure and simple. It's whether you're willing to commit to yourself and create radical transformation and change. If you're willing to love yourself fully, if you're willing to go into your pain, that's probably the scariest part, and into your fear, and actually let it go. And what I find is that the biggest fear we have oftentimes is detaching from our pain because it's become our identity. What would it feel like if you didn't have to do that anymore? If you didn't have to sit around and sabotage yourself or talk badly about yourself or think terrible thoughts about yourself all the way down the line? What if you could release that? Release the pains of your lineage, release the pains of your past, and commit. This morning I had a person come to me who was so deeply embedded in a victim story. As I said, what was stopping you, she gave me every single excuse in the book. My partner, my son, my house, I don't have this isn't happening, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. When it boiled down to it, she came from a family of alcoholics, specifically her dad, who was very, very abusive. And she felt completely and utterly unsafe in the world. Now, in that sense of unsafety, everything around her in this moment is fearful. it still feels fearful. And ironically, and not so ironically, painfully, she's now become an alcoholic. She's now become the same as her dad, abusive to herself and probably with her partner. And now the whole story of her past is being mimicked in this example. And when she broke down and cried, she actually said, I can't wait to get out and find a new family. Now, she was talking about what she wanted to create in her life now, but all I heard was that little child who said, I wish I could have had another family. And so I just saw the inner child, and the wounding and the pain, and just let her know that there are people out here like myself who can support her in finding safety in her life, in finding her voice, and voicing the victim so that she can get her needs met, so that she can take care of herself, so that she can feel connected to the earth, that she is fully and fully supported by myself, by the unseen realms, by spirit, by herself, so that she can learn to trust herself. And I knew when I was going to give her the coaching package that there was going to be a part of her that would back out of the process and say, well, this isn't safe because something's going to change, and I'm really connected to this identity of not being safe, and I'm not going to trust this woman, I'm not going to trust this woman. And as I coached her through that process and watched that story come back around, I could meet the story and again create safety for her and get her back on line with a new story of possibility. And we danced in this equation for a while. But eventually what happened is she said to herself and to me, you know what? I don't care how much it costs. I am fully committed to transforming myself and not being who I was with growing up as a little girl. I am not going to be that person. And I'm fully committed to myself. And instead of even signing up for a small coaching package and my medium-sized coaching package, she decided to stick with me for 6 full months so that she could radically shift her story and change her life. And it was very powerful. And I'm so excited for her. I mean, and she really wants it. So this is what I'm saying. When we're ready to change, we will commit no matter what. Because it is life or death. For her, it's life or death. It's life or death. And she knew that. And so she decided to commit to herself and choose life, choose solution. So I'm asking you today, what will you choose for yourself? What do you want to choose for yourself? Take a deep breath into that. I wish for all of you to choose solution, to stop choosing problem, to choose power, to choose ease, to choose flow, and to choose love and grace. That is my super deep blessing for you today. Thank you for listening. I love you. Mwah. Namaste.